Before or after? Before or after? Before or after? Before or after? Personally, I prefer after. Obviously, I'm the one that did the after. I'm also the one that did the before. So I guess it is possible that I could have done this current modification and felt regret and wanted to go back to the way it was, but that's not what happened because I like it a lot this way. This is a ton of fun. So let's talk about what I have here, and then I'll get into all the new updates. So this is my Fender Flying V, and you're saying to yourself, Ryan, Fender never made a Flying V that any of us are aware of. That's right, but I did. This is a parts guitar that I put together, gosh, maybe like 11, 12 years ago, something like that. I bought the body off of Craigslist. It's a Hondo body. This was a Hondo guitar. I got rid of the neck. I slammed on a Fender Made in Mexico Stratocaster neck, as you can see. I painted it. It was black before. I gave it this golden, it's like a tinsel glitter that I found at the craft store. It's really unique and beautiful. I haven't seen any other guitar that's got this going on. No, it's not perfect. It's very far from perfect, but unique, yes, it is. It had a humbucker originally. Obviously, I took that out. It didn't have a pickguard. I cut a pickguard for it. It had a different trim. I swapped out the trim, etc., etc., etc. So the last version of this, the previous version, the before version of this, it had two Strat pickups in a very traditional bridge and neck position, and it had a three-way blade switch. Very simple, very basic sort of concept. The thing I was going for was if Fender made a Flying V in the early 60s, before Fender was throwing humbuckers into anything. Like, I wanted it to seem like it came from that era, and I feel like I succeeded. I feel like I did what I set out to do, but I ran into some issues that have had me dreaming of a change for this guitar forever. First of all, I came to the humiliating realization that Flying Vs want humbuckers. They need them. You can't have a Flying V without a humbucker. It doesn't make any sense. I love single coils. I really, truly, deeply do. But if you've got a Flying V, it wants a humbucker, at least one. Just give it what it wants, okay? So clearly I don't have a humbucker in here right now, technically, but I sort of do. And I'll get to that in a minute. Another thing that I wanted to change was just the pickguard material. The original pickguard that I installed aged in a really unexpected way. It darkened to this pinky, fleshy sort of color. It started out like that. It started out a very nice light parchment color, and then very, very, very quickly took on this flesh tone. Like, if you look at how it aged underneath the knobs, and it looks like a reverse nipple. It's lighter in the middle and then gets fleshy on the outside. Maybe that's not reverse. Maybe some of us have nipples that look like that. I'm not trying to shame anyone's nipples here, but I've never seen a pickguard age like that in all my decades of playing guitar. That was a new one. And you're probably thinking, oh, it's because you had it next to a window and there was direct sunlight on it. No, I had it far away from windows. I had it in dark caves and caverns and garages in my house. And to prove that point, I've got a previous version of that pickguard that I cut that was sloppy. I didn't like the way it turned out. The pickup routes were really, really rough. So I threw this in a drawer. This has been in a drawer for a decade, sandwiched in between other pickguards that I wasn't using, and it yellowed. It didn't go full peachy pink, but it yellowed like someone was smoking cigarettes around it. It's even got little patchy bits. So something about this batch of pickguard ages funny. And some of you might prefer this color on the gold, but I don't. I wanted a bright white contrast against that gold. This would look kind of cool. Whatever material this is, wherever I got it, like this could be like a Guitar Relicer's secret material because it ages so dang quick. Maybe it was a fluke in the manufacturing of this pickguard material that it ages like that. But yeah, that could be valuable to someone who wants to make a guitar that'll age faster than normal. So let's talk about the updates. What I've done, obviously I swapped out the pickguard. The other obvious thing I've done is I've changed the loadout of the pickups. These aren't Strat pickups anymore. These are Jaguar pickups. Not only are they Jaguar pickups, I hit up Seymour Duncan and I was like, hey, here's a dumb idea that I'm doing. Do you want to throw some pickups at it? And of course they said yes, because free marketing, right? They asked me to pick the set that I want, so I picked a set and they're like, oh, we're actually half out of those. We don't have the bridge pickups in stock right now. Do you want antiquities? So of course I said yes. They sent me a set of Seymour Duncan Antiquity 2 Jazzmaster pickups, and I'm kind of glad they did. I think it's a really good proof of concept for what I'm doing here, and I'll explain what I'm doing here. If you're gonna prove a wacky concept like this and explore it, might as well start out with a very premium, vintage correct version of the thing that you're doing to see if it works, because otherwise you're just using modern pickups to do modern things, right? So huge thanks to Seymour Duncan for entertaining my wild idea and sending these out to me. Something really fun about these, I don't even need to pull them out. I didn't use them, but if you care about doing the relic thing, they come with screws that are like bottom of the ocean rusted and relic. If you want to make sure that the pickups you're putting in your vintage guitar look vintage, they come with screws that have that look. I opted for some clean sparkly screws that I had in a drawer, but you know, that's a fun detail from Seymour Duncan. What next? What was I getting to next? Oh, I'm going to tell you what I did here that's so different. Clearly, they're squished together. That's not a normal layout for Jaguar pickups. I've put them side by side, pushed together like best friends, peas in a pod, because I wanted to turn them into a humbucker, and I did. It sounds really cool and really good. It's got a bit of a microphonic thing going on because they're like, you know, they're vintage style pickups. They're made to be like they've been aged 60 years. So I'm not really surprised by that. But in humbucker setting, they sound fat and they sound thick. I like that they have this physical spread going on there that makes them sound a little different too. It's a completely unique sort of situation compared to a regular humbucker layout. As far as I'm aware, I'm the first person to do this with Jaguar pickups. Prove me wrong. Find pictures somewhere and post them down, post links down in the comment section. So what I've done here, as you can see, is two Jaguar pickups right next to each other with a little bit of a gap, like a ½ inch gap in between them. I've got a 3-way switch right here. I'll have a link for the switch that I used down in the description. And I've got a slider toggle right here, a Jaguar slider or Jazzmaster slider. And that controls a series parallel option. So in the down position, it's just like a number 2 position on a Strat. It's quacky, it's jangly, it's hollow sounding. It's not exactly like a Strat because these are closer together than you'd find on a Strat, but it gets you there. And then up, it turns this into a humbucker. It runs it in series. It runs one pickup into the other, and what that does is it changes not only the output, yeah, it boosts the output, it gets hotter, but it changes the tone. And what I've learned over the years as I've grown and matured as a guitar player is that humbuckers aren't just about being hot. They're not just about output. They're about a different tonal option, a different tonal palette to play with. Single coils are bright and thin and hollow sounding. They can be warm, they can be fat, yes, but they're missing the mids. Humbuckers bring the mids, and this loadout absolutely does that. And combined with the single coil sounds and then throwing that humbucker sound, it's bizarrely versatile. There's a lot of sounds going on here. It looks like it'd just be like a one-trick pony, like, oh, you're doing like a humbucker thing with 2 singles in the bridge. No, there's a lot of variety to work with here. So anyways, before I plug this thing in and start showing you all those sounds, we've got a few people to thank for making this video possible. Obviously, Seymour Duncan contributed to this video being possible by sending this extravagant set of pickups to throw into this silly project. But we've also got to thank StewMac. StewMac helped me out about a month or so ago when I was doing that video. I was doing a glow up on a classic vibe Jaguar. I've been Jaguar crazy lately. But they sent me a bunch of bits and tools to help cut out pick guards. And they sent me a bunch of blank pick guard material. And that contributed to me being able to make this video. So huge thanks to StewMac as well. I'll have links to everything that I mention and use down in the description. Go check it out. Click my links. Show them some gratitude with some traffic on their sites. But also, there's a big group of people that we've got to thank right now for making this possible. This is, products were provided, yes, but there's no money flowing in to this demo. This is not a paid demo sort of situation. That means that it is supported by the Patreons. The Patreons are doing the lion's share of making this content possible. If you like this sort of thing and you want to see more, click the link down below. Even if you just want to follow through Patreon so you get notifications when videos launch, go check out the Patreon. The Patreons make this nonsense possible. So yeah, huge thanks to them. I'll scroll all their names at the end. I'll probably do a big old jam with this thing or something. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to plug it in. One of the reasons you're not likely to see me use this guitar very often in demos is because it's really, really severely lacking in the ergonomics department. It does not like being held on a lap. Just to hold it here in this video, I'm having to wear a strap to hold it where I want it to be. That's kind of the trade-off when you're playing a Flying V, right? Hey, Tony.
What now, Ryan?
While I'm tuning, could you please tell everyone what my signal path looks like today?
Ryan is using pedals on the motherboard running into the two Princeton's rig.
Thanks, Tony.
You are welcome.
All right, I finally get to show you what this thing sounds like. Let's start with the single coil sounds. Started out on the middle position there. Here is the bridge. Bright, 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 twangy, and percussive. Exactly what you would expect from a bridge Jaguar pickup. Middle position. Strummy and quacky. Really kind of fun setting to have there. Two Jaguar pickups right next to each other, kind of doing that Stratty number 2 position. And then, of course, the neck position. I know what you want. Now you want to hear that humbucker setting. Here it comes. Just slide that up and we go from this on the bridge to this. Versus the sound of the neck pickup. Or the bridge versus the humbucker. Here's that humbucker setting. Bridge. And now middle. Versus the humbucker. So yeah, there is a boost in output, obviously, which is great with distortion and overdrive, etc., etc. But there's a huge change in the EQ as well. We'll compare it to the middle setting here, because technically it's both pickups in both settings. It's amazing to me how well that works. Can you make a humbucker out of any style? Single coil? Can you mix and match? I might have a lot of experimenting to do on other guitars after this. A wiring byproduct of doing that series parallel switch, which, you know, everyone out there who's ever done that sort of mod on their guitar is already gonna know, is that in one position on this three-way switch here, I've actually got a mute. In the neck position, because of the wiring of the series parallel switch here, when I'm in humbucker mode, I've got basically a kill switch. Which is a lot of fun when you're running a humbucker into distortion or fuzz, etc., etc. We'll get to that, I promise. But first, surfy stuff, right? Let's mess with some reverb from my Surfy Bear Reverb Compact Deluxe for a surfy, drippy, springy reverb sound. Let's start off on that bridge single. Middle position. Neck position. Back to middle. And bridge. It's amazing how much variety there is, considering these two pickups are so close together and almost right on top of each other. They're basically like in the same physical range. There's just like half an inch in between them, and you still get a pretty dramatic difference in tones. And then you still got the humbucker setting. Let's do a shootout of the humbucker setting versus that bridge single. Go more subtle with that reverb. There's a time and a place for both those sounds, and it's really, really fun to have both coming from the same pickups with just a fun little switch there. You get the character and the personality and that biting edge of the Jaguar pickups, but a nice kind of like mellow EQ'd, kind of like low mid pushed, creamy smooth humbucker sound when you want it, with plenty of output to push your drive. Let's bring some drive into the mix. Left side of my 50/50 pedal here. Back to the single. Middle. And the neck. I keep calling it the neck. Is it a neck pickup? It's not even far enough that direction to be a middle pickup, and I'm calling it the neck, but it is closest to the neck. I thought about, because I've got one in a drawer, I thought about putting a Telecaster neck pickup in the neck, but I was thinking about all the wiring here and the concept of it, and I decided to leave it locked in as like a vintage Fender, as if they had discovered like a hair metal guitar in the 60s versus the 80s. You know, like a single hot humbucker in the bridge with a wiggle stick sort of situation, but it's from an alternate timeline. You know, that was the concept. But yeah, is this a neck pickup? What do you guys think? I mean, it sounds different than the bridge. It's more throaty. It's got more low end. Turn the humbucker back on. We'll do it without any reverb now. Here is the neck without the humbucker setting. Middle. And the bridge. And back to the humbucker. What next? What should I do next? on the gravity well. The gravity well is an envelope filter, which is like a synthy sort of effect by Cosmodio, and it's really responds in a fun way to like on and off sorts of signals. It has a built-in trim, but I want to trigger it with my little kill switch option down here. We need some reverb from the dark world. Let's test it with some fuzz just to see if these different pickup settings make any difference in a fully destroyed signal. I have a feeling the output will make a difference. Like the bridge single coil will sound different than the humbucker, but we'll see. I'm gonna be using the Fuzz Imp. I never know how to pronounce this name. The Machina, the Machina, the Machina 2. I'll have a link down in the description. Here is that bridge single. Middle. Next. Doesn't make a huge difference on the single coil settings. Sounds a little different. Yeah, it makes a difference. Now on to that humbucker. Actually, let's start on that bridge single. And now the humbucker. Yeah, you get more lows through it. I wasn't expecting that. On the humbucker sound, it actually pushes it further into that starved Velcro rip. Some crazy fuzz magic happening there. So yeah, lots of versatility there. Not full versatility because you don't have an actual neck pickup. But more than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting it to be the same thing kind of twice with the humbucker option, but I'm actually pretty surprised in the different tonal range that I have across those two pickups. You've got your bright, thin spaghetti western on the bridge. You've got jangly sounds in between. Throatier sounds on the neck. And you got fat, thick humbucker sounds. I want to try to lay down like a creamy, bluesy sort of lead. We'll try the left side of the Brothers with some reverb. Middle. And the bridge. Let's do a little loop. Let's have some fun. I think I'm going to end up playing out with a ska jam. How does that sound? So what do you guys think? What do you think of this situation, this setup, this guitar as a concept? Do you want to do this sort of thing yourself? You want to start stacking weird, mismatched, or perfectly matched single coils into humbuckers? I really recommend it as a project. Like, add a series parallel switch to something in your life. Anything. If you can do it this way or not, stacking two singles right next to each other, it's a fun thing to do. That's really the takeaway of this whole video. I did a big old project just to show off a very common guitar mod, doing a series parallel switch there. But, you know, this is fun. This is interesting. This is different. If you like watching this sort of thing, learning about this sort of thing, watching projects like this come to fruition, maybe you should consider supporting this channel like so many other Patreons have done. This is the part of the show where Big Bird comes out and Elmo, and they tell you about channel membership and stuff like that. And you get a custom license plate frame. You won't get any of that. This isn't PBS. This isn't public broadcasting. But, you know, like, this video was a lot of work. Getting to the place where I got this all done took a lot of work. There was a lot of, like, stuff that I don't usually do for videos. Cutting pick guards over and over again. This didn't turn out perfect the first time. Let me go get one of my failed ones. Look at this. This was my first attempt at recutting this pick guard. And as you can see, as I was cutting that middle or neck pickup position, the router bit grabbed it and pulled it out of my hands and just kind of chewed on it for a while I scrammed. I ran away from the router and let it do its thing until it was done. It threw shrapnel everywhere. So yeah, this kind of experience is fairly intense as far as cutting pick guards go. Like, cutting pick guards is kind of serious business. I almost don't recommend it, but I've been having fun with it. So huge thanks to StewMac and Seymour Duncan, and of course all the Patreons for making all this seem worthwhile. I would have done this project on my own if I didn't have a channel, but it was really nice to have the support. I'll say that. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me a rude, nasty comment. Support us on Patreon. Buy a shirt if you're naked. Stay grounded and stay tuned for my little ska jam here. I'm going to try my best to do a ska jam and, you know, pick a name out of the Patreon scroll and thank them down in the comment section for me.